Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be don't get charmed by the narcissist. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So, you most likely were charmed by the narcissist, as was I. You didn't realize that charm could just be a precursor to the destruction of your life. It could be a warning sign that things are too good to be true. And then, of course, they turned out to be too good to be true. For some of you who may not know what charm is, there are many different nuances to charm, but I'll just give you one example. One example is you are going to buy a car at the car dealership, and all you want is the basic model. You just need whatever car it is, whatever color, and the interior at the basics, because that's all you need. Well, you get there, and then the salesperson tries to upsell you. And they try to use their charm and try to sell you and let you know how much you really need something that you don't even know exists. Next thing you know, the car that you're going to buy, let's say it was going to be for 20 grand, now you're on the hook for 35 grand with all these bells and whistles. And guess what just happened? Yes, you were charmed. Now you could also say that that person was putting pressure on you to upsell you and everything would be correct. That's one example of charm. Now if you flip it, if something appears to be too good to be true, usually it is. That is an old adage, and no truer words have ever been spoken, specifically when referencing the toxic narcissistic person. You see, they use their charm. There are many different types of narcissists, many different types of toxic people. Using the narcissistic lexicon for a moment, there's the cerebral, the somatic, the vulnerable, the communal, and so many more different kinds. But what happened with you is you most likely fell for a version of the mask that they were trying to sell you. They were trying to use their charm to allure you or to lure you into that web of manipulation. You didn't know what you were up against because you were not taught this. You didn't realize that charm wasn't just a salesperson at the car dealership trying to get some extra things out of you. And you know, maybe the car dealership was a higher price thing. How about this one? You're going to get your car washed at the washing place. Well, maybe you just want the basic wash, and maybe it's 30 bucks these days, I have no idea. But next thing you know, do you want the wax? Do you want the special dry? Do you want this, that? Next thing you know, you leave it, it's 100 bucks. You're like, what just happened? All I wanted was a basic car wash. And I use cars as examples just because it's the first thing that came to my mind. But what happens here with the narcissist is they use their charm. They bat their eyelashes. They show you the rosy cheeks or their pearly whites, or they recite or recant scriptures from the Bible or from the Torah or Quran or whatever method of biblical references they want to use. Or maybe they're a history buff and they know what Napoleon did or what this person did or that person. Well, why do you think the narcissist would be so invested in learning about past human behaviors? You're getting it. That's right, because they're always studying, they are learning, they're mimicking, they're mocking, they're taunting, they're trying to place people in that zombie-like, trance-like state, which is known as the narcissistic fog, the trauma bond, the devaluation stage. Any and or all three of those are unique to themselves, yet interchangeable to the relationship that you are a part of. Again, way back when, before you were in that relationship, you didn't know what gaslighting was. You had no idea. You didn't know what verbal abuse was. You just thought it was somebody yelling because they were having a bad day because they didn't get the parking space at the supermarket. You didn't realize what financial abuse was. You just kept loaning your brother or sister hundreds, if not thousands of dollars over the years, and they never repaid you, not realizing that they had money. They just wanted to burn through your money, because what does the narcissist love more than money? Your money. But now you're understanding all these things. And before I proceed with the video, I just want to let you know, not everyone's a narcissist. That's not what I think, and you shouldn't think that way either. But what you should know is that you were in the cycle for a period of time. Whether it was a day, a week, a month, a year, a decade, or until yesterday, you're now doing something that very few people will ever do, which is you're learning about humanity. You're learning about psychology. You're learning about mindset. You're learning about energy. You're learning about different behaviors of human beings. You're learning that the narcissist studied you. You're also learning that most likely you have a high level of empathy. You most likely were an open book. You were committed. You were giving to a fault, maybe even a people pleaser. You didn't have boundaries, and you were believing in the charm of the narcissist. You see, the narcissist had done to you what they had done to many people before they met you. And they did what they did to you to other people after that relationship ended. because the narcissist is always fine-tuning their craft of manipulation, their skill set of abuse, and the ways they use their charm. Think about vulnerability. What is vulnerability? Well, to you, it's probably when you entered the narcissistic relationship, because most likely you were vulnerable and naive and trusting and all those things. And then definitely it happened when you were discarded or when that relationship ended, because you didn't know what just had happened to you and your life. Well, the narcissist plays the vulnerable card left, right, and center. What they were doing with you and other people is they were watching how you were squirming. They were watching how you were using your words. They were watching how you were looking for closure or trying to get answers to the questions, even though you didn't even know many of those questions what they were. At the hands of the narcissist, you're looking for them to give you answers. Of course, the narcissist will never give you closure, but they were learning from you. They were watching you. They were comparing what you were doing in the relationship and certainly post-relationship with what other people had done. And this helps them to get a tighter mask for the next new supply. Side note, pro tip, remember, the narcissist gets older. And as they get older, they become the aging narcissist, which is not a pretty sight to see. But one thing they do is they use every ounce of charm that is manufactured within them to get a new source of supply. It's what they have to do. As they blow through relationships in this thing called life, they destroy not only one person's life or relationship, but dozens, if not hundreds, maybe even thousands of people's lives. And when they do that, then they crumble those people up like sheets of paper on the freeway, throw them away, wash, rinse, repeat, or rinse, wash, repeat, and they figure out what worked and what didn't work with that person, which was you, and it certainly was me. Once they realize a certain method or technique or tactic using, for this example, maybe being vulnerable, maybe they use that to get the next source of supply, which is what they probably did. They probably flipped the script on the new supply, saying that they were the vulnerable one, you were the abuser, you were the narcissist, you were the toxic person, you were the person who was verbally abusing them, you were counter-parenting, you were co-parenting, you were financially abusing them and withhold money, you were withholding intimacy, you wouldn't lift a finger to help them out, you didn't lift a finger in the house, you didn't cook, clean, you did nothing. Well, the new supply, if they're a clean slate like you were, and I certainly was, they're going to believe that because they have no reason not to, because also they've been drinking the Kool-Aid that the narcissist was pouring about you. See, this is what happened with you. You most likely were drinking the Kool-Aid or the toxicity that they were pouring when they were talking or first introducing themselves to you about their former person, whoever it was. Maybe the person they were talking that escalated you into entering the relationship with them. Maybe it was a brother or sister. Maybe it was a parent from a broken home. Maybe it was their former romantic relationship. Maybe it was a business partner. Maybe it was a best friend. Maybe it was a roommate. Whoever it was, they leveraged that broken relationship to get onto you and your beautiful, bright, shining light. Then once they tried to extinguish you, and they did a very, very good job at trying to, but they failed, then they used the leverage from what they experienced with you or all the abuse they dumped into you to springboard them to the new supply. That's why the cycle, it just continues to go around and around and around in a loop. And the one common denominator, it's not you, it was never you, it's the narcissist. What they do is they use their charm, they try to lure people in, they try to draw people in, and they try to get people to be open books and to play on their naivete and to play on their empathy and their compassion and their ability to love and their ability to give without asking for anything in return. The narcissist will take anything they possibly can from somebody, and once they get what they want, they A, don't want it any longer, then they B, look at that person with disdain and jealousy, and C, they want to extinguish that person. Well, again, this is what happened with many people before the narcissist met you, but it didn't happen with you because you're here, you're getting your cup full. You are understanding that you are the priority. You come first, second, and third. Now and going forward, there is no room in your life for toxicity, for narcissism, for disrespect, for being hung up on, for being verbally abused, emotionally abused, financially abused, every way possible. You didn't know these things back then, but now you do. So don't fall for the charm of the narcissist, or don't be charmed by the narcissist. Way back then, before you met them, you didn't know this. You were thinking, oh, that person's so charming. They're just so amazing. They look so elegant, and they look so beautiful. They're just absolutely charming. Well, remember, everything isn't how it appears to be on this planet called Earth. And charm is something that perhaps comes to you naturally. It comes to me extremely naturally. I can turn it on or turn it off depending on who I'm with, what I'm doing, and if that person deserves to receive certain compliments or words from me. And that's what I do when it's appropriate. But I don't just give it away for free. When I was with the toxic parasite, yes, the narcissist, I was giving all this stuff away for free. Now I don't give it away. Now you have to earn it. And if I believe that you have a special skill set, or if I believe that you're an amazing human being, or if I believe that you're stronger than you know, and all these things and so many more, then I'll tell you. I will let you know. But I'm not going to fake it, and I'm not going to give away compliments just because somebody wants one. But that's what the narcissist demanded. They demanded that you fall for the mask. They demanded you fall for the charm. They demanded you stayed stuck in that low vibrational quagmire state. They demanded that you never, and I mean never, were heard. You were spoken to. You were not supposed to be having opinions of your own or thoughts of your own or do anything on your own. This is why you became the unpaid helper. This is why and how you became the indentured servant, the pawn. This is how you became the walking ATM. This is how you were the sounding board. And this is probably why you stayed trapped in that cycle, because you didn't know you were in it, and you definitely didn't know your way out of it. Once that relationship ended, and it ended when it was supposed to end, not a minute sooner, no matter what you think. Do I wish you went through the relationship? No. Would I like to have gone through the relationship? Absolutely not. But I did, and so did you. And it ended when it was supposed to, which means this. We are all connected by energy, every one of us. I'm connected to you, you are connected to me, and we are connected no matter where you are on the planet, no matter what language you speak, how young or old you are, and what your background is. But having said that, the narcissist knew who you were way before you met them. And they used their charm and allure and everything they could to draw you into that web. Now that you understand that you need to cut the ties from the narcissist, the emotional, the financial, the physical, and the spiritual tie, and conserve your energy for yourself, well, now then you realize you need to get away from these people as far as you can and as fast as you can. But the energetic connection is a huge one. Having said all of these things, I will share with you a couple more. One, don't fall for the charm of the narcissist, or don't let the narcissist charm you. What the narcissist does is they will do whatever they can do to get somebody to believe in them, to make them feel better about themselves, to have that person become the unpaid helper, and to put them high on a pedestal while they're being punished, abused, manipulated, and their life is being put on hold, and actually, truth be told, it's being destroyed. Once the narcissist gets what they want, then they usually look to insert new sources of supply, not necessarily immediately, but for the future. And the narcissist is not loyal to one person. They don't care about anybody but themselves. They don't care about their kids. They don't care about their stepkids. They never cared about you. They don't care about their parents, their siblings, or anybody. They don't care about one thing other than blending into society, wearing whatever mask they need to, having people fall for their charm, for their allure, and for their charisma, and they're so amazing. Oh my gosh, I'm so drawn. I need to be with this person. Well, that's what I thought. That's what you thought. When you realize it's nothing but a house of cards, it's nothing but a relationship built on quicksand, it's not sustainable, and that each and every one of these, yes, all of these relationships end. They all have an expiration date. They all will come to a crash one day or another. And many of them come to crashes over and over and over again when you were in the relationship. Keyword is were. That's what I call micro discards. A micro discard is when the narcissist is giving you the silent treatment. It's when they're withholding intimacy. It's when they're walking 50 feet in front of you. It's when they're hanging up the phone on you. It's when they're over talking when you're trying to have a conversation. It's when they're interrupting you. It's when they're complaining about the 5-course meal that you made for dinner and you spent 6 hours making it because it was your anniversary, but the narcissist decided to not show up that day because they were off with a new supply in some flea bag motel. You see, this is what the narcissist does. It's what they've always done. It's what they will always do. The narcissist is trapped in their own tiny little brain, and they know it. Misery loves company. The narcissist loves abuse. They love toxicity. They love to keep people in the dark. The narcissist wants to lurk around the corner. They creep and crawl underneath the rocks. Notice what I shared. Low vibrational state, rocks. That's what the narcissist is. The narcissist can never elevate. They can never ascend. The narcissist doesn't want to do anything other than try to extinguish people and their beautiful, bright, shining light, to steal their energy, to use their charm against said person. This is what happened with you. So don't allow the narcissist to charm you, or don't be charmed by the narcissist. You didn't know back then what you know now. Now you know. Now the onus is either upon you or it will be on you very soon, which is maintain your boundaries, maintain no contact, trust your instincts, trust your intuition, pay attention to red flags, and realize that the narcissist, not the one you're considering, but in plural, narcissism, it's everywhere. It's in your building. It's at the coffee shop. It's in traffic. It's on an airplane. It's in a restaurant. It's at that seminar you're going to. It's in the hotel you're at right now. Think about this. Let's say you're staying at a hotel right now. Maybe you are. Maybe you're traveling. Maybe you're escaping from the narcissist. Who knows? But let's say you're in a hotel. I can assure you, in that hotel, not everyone is there for the same reason. Think about what I'm mentioning to you. Why do you think people are in hotels? Well, you could say business, of course. You could say leisure or vacation, of course. You could say maybe it's you, and it certainly was me for 16 days, trying to escape the narcissistic web of manipulation and abuse. Okay, well, hotels, or maybe it's a layover. Maybe someone's going from place A to place B and they just need a place to stay for the night. I get it. Or maybe they had a circumstance that the insurance company's putting them up at the hotel for a period of time. Okay, I get all that. What I'm sharing with you is this, is in that hotel where perhaps you are or you were at one point, there are cheaters in that hotel, there are narcissists, there are liars, there are relationships being broken, there are relationships being built. Think about it. It's not exclusive to a hotel. You could say with an airplane or a restaurant. Not everything is how it appears to be. You didn't know that back then. So going back to the charm, don't let the narcissist charm you, or don't be charmed by the narcissist. Think about it. Going forward, let's say that you are in traffic, and let's say that you're stuck in bumper to bumper, and you look over to your left and someone's giving you, they look amazing. They're smiling at you, showing their pearly whites, and they're driving a nice car or whatever, and they're giving you a little too much attention. Why do you think they're doing that? Supply. Notice what I shared with you. You're in a traffic jam. They're bored. They're looking to get someone's attention to make them feel better. They're not looking at you so you feel good. They're trying to draw your attention away from wherever you're going, what you're doing, so you think about them. I could talk about this for the next 70 hours straight. All I would need is a couple bottles of water. There are so many layers upon layers upon layers of the onion to be peeled back, referring to mindset, to toxicity, to narcissism, to empathy, and to humanity. One video won't do it justice, but I can assure you, the more you stay on the path, just like I have, the more you continue to focus on yourself, the more you learn, the more you trust your energy, trust your instincts and intuition, and the more you believe in yourself the way I believe in you, the further on the path you will get. And if you're in the darkness, meaning you're in the dark tunnel and you're looking for the light at the end of the tunnel like I was at one point, you need to continue to go through the darkness. Nobody's going to do it for you. No one's going to lift a finger to help you out. No one's going to knock on your door and say, hey, I'm here to save you. I wish that were the case. It is not reality. Many people on the planet, most people on the planet, are concerned about themselves, what they're doing, how they compare with others, what they have, what they don't have, if they watched the latest sitcom last night or the latest Netflix show, if they have the fancy car, getting enough Amazon packages for people who don't care about them, using their credit card even though they're having problems paying it off, but getting as much on that credit card before maybe they default or not, I can't tell you, and trying their best to blend in with society. That was me for a period of time. Yes, guilty as charged. I never had credit card debt. Next thing you know, 18,000 credit card debt. Remember, when the money runs out, so does the narcissist. That's why knowing what you know now, or knowing what I know and knowing what you're learning, you need to realize, don't fall for the charm. Don't be charmed by the narcissist. Don't be charmed by anything. So again, let's just give you one more example before I close the video. Say you're going to a job. You're going to get a new job, and you pass the first interview, and it's looking good, and you're looking around, you're like, wow, this place is great, it's amazing, it looks really good. And you don't need the job, but you want the job. Or maybe you do need a job, I can't tell you, but let's say you don't need the job, you want to change jobs, and the place looks amazing. And then you are talking to some people and saying, hey, how is this place? How is it really? And people don't say, oh, be careful, it's toxic. They just kind of look at you and smile and say, yeah, it's a great place, right? It's amazing. Yeah, you're going to love it here. But that's what they have to say because they have to keep their job. So then you make it to the second interview, and the people that are interviewing you are grilling you, let's say. They're really trying to make it hard to see if you deserve to be there or belong there or whatever it is. Well, then you get to the third interview, And here we go again. You're being grilled every way possible. You're answering questions you already answered in the previous 2 interviews. And you're saying, why am I doing this? I don't get it. What the people are doing that are interviewing you, perhaps, but for this illustration, it's real. They don't care about what you're saying. They care about how you are reacting. Are you oversharing? Are you confident? Are you stern? Are you stoic? Are you an open book? Are you asking them, why are you asking so many questions? Are you getting emotional? It's not the question, it's how you're responding or reacting, which is why in so many videos over the years, and I'll say it one more time and I will close the video, post-relationship, we, the healed or the healing, need to learn how to respond and not react. I'll say it again, learn how to respond and not react. And not every correspondence or interaction or desire for communication with anybody deserves a response. When you were in the narcissistic abusive cycle, you weren't responding to anything, you were reacting. You were like a yo-yo going up and down, in and out. You were walking on eggshells, you couldn't get your breath, you couldn't get your bearings, you were being sleep deprived, you were being punished, you were always on the go, 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 because the narcissist can't sit still, still, still. That is a hamster wheel of abuse, of manipulation, of toxicity that you did not even know existed, yet you were on it. You were the fuel that was the engine driving the narcissist from one leg of their life to the next. Post-relationship, after the dust has settled, the smoke has lifted, the clarity has arrived, and you've healed, or you're healing, all that energy goes back into yourself. And you realize, wait, I don't have to fall for anyone's charm. I don't have to fall for anyone's charisma. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. I move at my own speed. I do what I want, when I want, with whom I want to do it, or I don't do anything at all. Just because somebody asks me for my time doesn't mean I have to be available. Quite the opposite, I can become unavailable, and I need to really slow my life down and process what I want going forward each and every waking minute of this thing called life. That's what I do, and my hope is that's what you're doing, but you couldn't do it back then. And the reason you couldn't do it, as the thumbnail mentioned in the beginning, don't be charmed by the narcissist, it's because you were charmed. Think about one more example, and this may not be the best example, but it's just coming to me right now. Way back when, remember snake charmers? They would play the flute, and this cobra would pop up out of a basket, and it would kind of do what I'm doing with my head, and it would slither its way up, and all these things, and you would be thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, snake charmer, how does he do that? How is this possible? Well, there's your charm. The flute, and I'm just ad-libbing this like I ad-lib every video I create. Maybe I'll research it afterwards, actually I will. Snake comes out probably because of the flute, because it can hear, or maybe, I don't know, maybe a snake can't hear, maybe it's the vibration, I don't know. But whatever it is, there's a term, snake charmer. The narcissist is the snake and they charm. The snake is in a low vibrational state usually, no disrespect to snakes. All disrespect to toxicity though. Think about what I'm sharing. Snake charmer, narcissist charmer. Understand there are so many layers upon layers upon layers that I could take these videos every single day. I am going to continue to make them longer, and if the sun weren't going down, I would have talked probably for about 40 minutes, another 18, because that's what I wanted to do. However, it's getting dark. So I'll continue to make them longer. My hope is you're doing well. You are where you want to be. If you are, fantastic. If you're not quite where you want to be yet, that means there's work to be done, but continue on the path. Continue focusing on yourself. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And recognize something. Charm is something that way back then, if you're from the United States of America, you probably remember, if you're old enough, there were lollipops called Charms Pops. Okay, well, that is a lollipop way a long time ago. Then also, you probably had charms like, oh, you're my lucky charm. Like, remember the cereal, Lucky Charms? There's another one. Or a charm bracelet. Maybe even a Pandora bracelet. Wink, wink. Well, the narcissist uses their charm to draw people into the web. Don't fall for the charm. If it appears to be too good to be true, I'm going to let you know right now, it is. Proceed with caution, tread lightly, trust your instincts and trust your intuition. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a great evening. I love you all, and bye, everybody. I hope you liked the video. I loved it. Bye.